We are joined now by two former Trump campaign insiders. Corey Lewandowski served as campaign manager until June of 2016, and David Bossie was the deputy campaign manager at the end of the Trump campaign. And they've collaborated on a new book called, what else? Let Trump Be Trump, the inside story of his rise to the presidency. Gentlemen, good morning. How many times have I heard you say that, Corey? Let Trump be Trump. Let me start with this Access Hollywood tape, because as you know, it's been reported that the president recently has started to suggest to people in his inner circle, and including one senator, that maybe that tape wasn't real. Maybe he really didn't say those things. Now, David, you were the deputy campaign manager. You actually showed him the Access Hollywood tape on your iPad when it came out. Is it real?
Well, I said yesterday on Meet the Press that it is, of course, real.
And did the president acknowledge that it was real then? We know he did on tape, but even in those moments.
The president made a tape where he acknowledged having the locker room talk. And I think that that's where it ends with him. It was all about the talk. And now I understand Billy Bush is coming out. That's all well and good. We wouldn't be talking about this today, I don't think, if all these high-profile folks in the last month hadn't had a problem. And I think this is behind the president, and we really want to move forward.
Perhaps it was, but if he is, Corey, talking to people in his inside circle and suggesting, maybe that tape's fake. Yeah, I mean, if that's true, why would he do that? You know him better than anybody.
I know him very, very well. And
do you believe he's doubting it?
I don't. Look, I've spoken to the president dozens, hundreds of times, thousands in my life. I've never heard him say that. So where are these sources, where the fake news wants to report this, anonymous sources, insides what the president's saying? What we've seen time and time again is people want to make up a story that isn't true. We saw it this week with an ABC News report. They want to make up a story about the administration of the president, which isn't true. It then becomes the news of the day, and everyone is forced to respond to something which is not true.
Yeah.
They set a narrative that is negative for the president. Brian Ross did it. And it was obviously wrong. And so, look, in our book...
Well, just to button it up, the president said, yes, I said those awful words, and he still believes, yes, I said those awful words.
Savannah,
that's what you're saying.
Our book, Let Trump Be Trump, we detail the Billy Bush weekend, and everybody can read it for themselves.
Let me talk about the Russia investigation. Michael Flynn now pled guilty, got something of a sweetheart deal from prosecutors, a fairly light charge given the universe of charges that were looming out there. Obviously, he's cooperating with them and has something to say and something of value to these federal prosecutors. Do you think the president should be worried, Corey, that Michael Flynn is about to turn on him?
I don't think so, and let me tell you why. Michael Flynn came to the campaign fairly late. Actually, Michael came after I left, so he wasn't an early supporter. So he came in July, almost at the convention time. And what we know is, as it relates to the national security component, and specifically when it related to the transition, that entire component was segregated out, and the president and the campaign side really had nothing to do with the national security component. So if Mike Flynn was not honest with the FBI, and that's what he's been accused of, and that's what he's pled guilty to, is lying to the FBI, that's a crime that Mike is responsible for and has nothing to do with the president.
You don't think the president directed him, why don't you talk to the Russians about these sanctions?
I don't think so, and Mike has never said that that's been the case either.
Right, and by the way, if things that happened during the transition, that's what the government is supposed to be doing. The incoming administration. And on December 2nd, the State Department specifically said, and it's on videotape, the State Department said that we understand that the incoming Trump administration is dealing with national security leaders in other countries as well as heads of state.
Why would Flynn lie about it? I guess that's the question, right? It's kind of a head scratcher.
That's exactly right. Look, you know what I know? If you're being questioned by the FBI, just be truthful. And what Mike has been accused of and pled guilty to is lying to a federal official, and he alone are responsible for that.
Real quickly on that, though, have you been asked to has the FBI tried to interview you yet?
Savannah, I'll talk to anybody.
Have they asked yet, though?
Nobody wants to talk
about
to me.
You, David, yes or no?
No, I've not talked to anybody, and I'm an open book, and I'm happy to talk to him about anything I saw.
Let me ask you about the president's tweet over the weekend. It was very interesting. He said, I fired Flynn because he lied to the vice president and he lied to the FBI. This is different than what he claimed before, and it's potentially legally significant. Because if he said, I fired Flynn because he lied to the FBI, and then, according to Comey's testimony, later said to Comey, you ought to go easy on Flynn, I'm paraphrasing. That would be problematic, would it not? And the president in his tweet says that's why he fired Michael Flynn.
Mike Flynn was fired from my worldview because he lied to the vice president and to the White House.
But the president just tweeted, yeah.
I understand that the confluence of those two things together, but I think, and I wasn't there, and we're not in the White House, so we don't exactly know, but I think that is simply the president. hears that he was lied to the FBI, and he puts those together.
Both of you were very clear on Meet the Press that no Russians ever attempted to contact you during the campaign.
Correct.
And you did not speak to any Russians during the campaign.
To the best of my knowledge, never.
Let me ask you a different question.
Chris Cuomo, maybe.
Let me ask you a different question. Do you have reason to believe that the Russians were trying to get in touch with members of the campaign?
Look, I think what the email chains now show is that Russia wanted to get in touch with both campaigns. Right. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to have a relationship, a different relationship with either the Trump administration or the Clinton administration than what they had in the Obama administration. And what this administration, the Trump administration, has said, hey, there's an opportunity to work with Russia if we can partner together to rid ISIS in Syria. That is a good thing for people. If
the Russians were contacting members of your Trump campaign, which, according to federal prosecutors, they were, and offering to peddle dirt on Hillary Clinton, would that have been appropriate? As campaign manager, would you have allowed that?
Absolutely not. What I would have done if they would have come to me is I would have gone to our general counsel, the campaign counsel, and said, look, I don't know anything about this. You investigate it. But I can tell you when I served as a campaign manager, never to my knowledge did the Russians try and bring me information that would have been potentially damaging to the Clinton campaign. I never accepted it.
There's so much to talk to both of you about that you have to come back in the 8 o'clock hour. The book is very colorful. You talk about the campaign. So we'll look forward to talking to you both in a little while.
Thank you.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.